Yo, shout out to the Most High. The top of the high, see we win our Lord status, L-Deez. Also known Lawrence the One for another episode of I Need to Know. And my special guest, introduce yourself, G.
Herm Lewis, Black Power Productions.
Okay. So, Herm, I like to say this before every episode. How did you get your name?
I was waiting on this question. But I got my name by when I was in high school as a freshman. Man, I got a haircut, and it was all bad. And my partner, Thaxter Arterberry, started calling me Milton the Monster. and that hung around for like a year. And then as my popularity started to increase, he changed it from Herman the Monster, and just started calling me Herm.
You know what's crazy? That's crazy how nicknames become so legendary.
Yeah. And it's like, first it was Milton the Monster, then it was Herman the Monster.
Uh-huh.
And then as my popularity increased, they started calling me Herm.
You know,
and it's stuck.
It's funny though, because nicknames always start off longer, and as time, they get shorter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For sure, like Yuck Mouth, they call him Yuck.
You're right.
You know, the Jack, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you in the building, you know what I'm saying?
Without a doubt, it's a privilege to be here.
So where you want to start? Let's start from the beginning.
You know, the beginning, as far as the music business.
I want to talk about how it was you growing up. First off, where are you from?
I'm from Hunters Point, San Francisco.
Hunters Point.
Yep, HP.
You know it's crazy because I'm from Oakland, right? And that was every time you could say Hunters Point to somebody from Oakland, and then the eerie sounds going like, man, them Hunters Point, something else.
Yeah. I was from the hardest part of Hunters Point, West Point. You know, back then, it was Hunters Point was just all Hunters Point.
Okay.
There wasn't no separation. It wasn't the West Point, Oakdale, Thirst. It was just Hunters Point. Yeah. And that's when we was collectively strong.
If you don't mind me asking, is this before 84?
This is before 84. When the crack epidemic hit, 86, 87, 88, the drugs started infesting the community. Yeah. And that's when the set started. A different set. That's when the community got broken up into sets.
See, that's why I asked that question. Mm-hmm. Was it before 84? Because I kind of figured that crack was one of the things that divided the family the most, right?
Divided the family, destroyed the family, and you can still see evidence of it today.
Come a little bit closer to the mic.
You can still see the evidence of it today.
Yeah.
When you ride through the streets and, the mental deterioration and the homelessness and all of that, because of that. But what transpired in 80, 86, 88 when the crack stuff hit.
Gotcha. So when you were younger, you know what I'm saying? How was it growing up out there in Hunters Point? And back then, how were the gang wars?
It was, it really was, it wasn't no gang wars. We was all about getting money.
Okay.
We was all about getting money, nice cars, chasing females, partying at, you party in Fillmore, Sunnydale. You party at all the different locations because that's what it was about back then. And then when eventually the gang wars started, and at that time, I never experienced the gang activity, because I was older. I'm 60.
Okay.
So I missed that era. Thank God, because I would, every era that was in the community, I was involved, from the drugs to the basketball to the football to the cars and all of that. But I never got involved in the gang activity because I was a little older and I missed that era. Plus, I ended up going to the penitentiary.
Wow.
So when I got out, it was chaos. It was killing. It was separation of the neighborhoods, and that's what made me come out with the attitude of creating a stop the violence, increase the peace type of motivational speech.
Okay.
So that's what initiated that,
Okay, this is what I want to know. You've been around a minute.
Yeah.
You know, you look good for your age. Look, his brother been drinking 40s out the fountain of youth for this. So I want to ask you this. Bloods and Crips never made it to San Francisco in a black way, right?
Never. Bloods and Crips never made it to San Francisco. Never made it to Oakland either, right? Never made it to the Bay Area.
Why do you think that is?
Because we was always flamboyant. We was always about our money. We was always about wearing different colors, whether it was red or blue. If that was your style and you had to matching Fila's or the matching Adidas to go with it, you rocked it.
Okay.
And it never, the Crips and Blood thing never resonated with the Bay Area cats. I don't know if it was because of, the Black Panthers being in Oakland.
Yeah.
And in San Francisco, the music that we was, putting out there, it just never resonated. And I'm happy that it did.
Yeah.
And this is a story I can tell you. When I was in the penitentiary, and in Avenal Penitentiary, one of the homeboys come through, and he had on some red shoes, some red Fila's, but he was from the Bay Area.
Okay.
But all the Crips was tripping. Like, man, you got to take them shoes off, dude. You can't be on the yard with them shoes. And, I was Herm. I was a shot caller.
Yeah.
So I told, and the young homie was taking them off. And I got pissed off at him and said, dude, you from the Bay Area, you don't take your shoes off because these cats want you to take your shoes off. Okay, we don't rock like that. Okay, so I had to explain to the Crips and the Bloods, like, look, man, we from the Bay Area, we rock different colors. Okay, this guy came to the penitentiary with his shoes on, and he's on his yard. He's representing the Bay Area car. So he's entitled to keep his shoes on. And out of the respect that the guys have for me, they allowed him to keep his shoes on.
Okay.
And, so that right there, and it never got to the Bay Area. I'm glad it did.
For sure.
Yeah.
Can I ask you another question? Can I keep these on?
Oh, yeah, you keep that on all day long.
I got on my blue Adidas in this.
Yeah, all day long.
This is what I want to know. People always talk about young black brothers selling crack. What was people selling before that on the street? Like, how was people getting money in the streets before that?
Man, weed. For me,
weed?
I was selling tie stick.
Okay.
Buddha stick, tie sticks on the stick.
Yeah.
I was, I'm a dinosaur. That was what I was doing.
Yeah.
Then the indica came out. I had a boatload of that. And as the weed progressed and became better, I always was the weed man.
Oh.
And that's how I was getting. Then we were selling powder. Motherfuckers were selling powder. But for me, I never sold crack. I never sold crack. I always sold just weed. And eventually I ventured off into the large quantities of keys and stuff like that back in the days. I moved large quantities. But I never sold the rocks and stuff like that because I just couldn't get into it. I tried it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, especially when it first came out.
Yeah.
I got 5 of these little things. Man, how am I gonna make some money on this? And next thing you know, everybody in the neighborhood was addicted to it, selling it. Then they had the 50 shots. My homies had the 50 shots, and they used to just run through them. Mm-hmm. But we was all about selling weed and buying cars, flipping cars. Having all the material stuff, the jewelry and stuff like that, But that's what it was about back then.
In what age did you go to the penitentiary?
I went to the penitentiary when I was 28.
28?
28.
Is that relatively old to go to the penitentiary for the first time?
You know what was a trip? I went to the county jail because I was an athlete. I played sports.
Oh.
So in high school, it was all about sport. That's how and that's another thing. That's how we was raised. And that's how we got our reputations at the beginning. When we were 14, 15, on the basketball court, on the football field, on the baseball diamond. That's how you establish your reputation in the neighborhoods throughout the city.
Okay.
Because we go to gym to gym. And if you raw, you're going to get that recognition like Gary Payton.
That's right.
So, I was doing the stuff that he was doing, trying to be a star.
Yeah.
And
Was that your number one sport?
Basketball is my number one sport.
Can I ask you the basketball question real quick? Okay. I love asking these random questions. I asked this question. If you had to build a top 10 list of basketball players with the highest basketball IQ, right, of all time, would you put Dennis Rodman on that list?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would put Dennis Rodman on the list. He had IQ, and his attitude was just so unpredictable.
Yeah.
But Michael Jordan was able to reel him in.
Yeah.
And I have, one of the stories that I read on the Chicago Bulls and the Michael Jordan. And
the Last Dance? Are you talking about The Last Dance?
No. The Dennis Rodman thing is when, that too. I had read it in the book before that. But Dennis Rodman, he was challenging the Bulls. He deliberately tried to miss games. And Michael Jordan told Scottie Pippen, like, man, I don't care what we got to do. We are not losing a game while this guy is sitting on the sideline acting like he's injured. Mm-hmm. Because that's what he did in San Antonio. Every time he set out, San Antonio would lose.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen had made an agreement among themselves. They wasn't going to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
So they played above and beyond anytime Dennis Rodman was out.
Yeah.
And they won the majority of them games, if not all of them.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. So you said you played basketball, right?
Yeah.
And football?
I played football in high school. My first year, I was a decent football player because I played Pop Warner. But, I was more committed to basketball.
Okay.
So I eventually played basketball. I played on the varsity team in 78, 79.
Okay.
And, I was I was a solid point guard. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I was a solid point guard. I played like Isaiah Thomas.
Dope.
Yeah, I had that type of game.
Okay.
I was the captain of the team.
Yeah.
Point guard, ran the show, distributed the ball to all the superstars. I wasn't a superstar, but I played with guys that was 6'8", 6'9". All the guys I played with eventually went to 4-year universities.
Anybody went pro?
One guy went pro, and he played for the Houston Rockets, Braxton Clark.
Gotcha.
Baxter Arterberry played for Nevada Reno. Jerry Keys played for, he played football for, he didn't go pro, but he played for San Jose and San Jose State. Mm. But my son went pro.
Okay.
Yeah, my son, Stevie Johnson.
Stevie Johnson.
Yeah, that's my stepson.
Okay.
I raised him since he was 2.
That's cool.
That's my son. So,
Jesus had a stepdaddy. Come on, man. So, that don't mean nothing.
Right. So he ended up, he made it to the NFL.
Okay.
Played with Buffalo for 8 years. Played with his hometown team, the San Francisco 49ers, for 1 year.
That's a dream.
With Colin Kaepernick. And the thing about that is, before they tore Candlestick down, Steve ended up playing for the 49ers, his hometown team. Mm-hmm. And I taught him how to drive at that parking lot.
Damn.
I taught him how to drive his first car at Candlestick parking lot.
Yeah.
You just go down there. So I taught him how to drive, and years later, he ended up playing on the team.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because don't they call that, in a sense, like when the offense is moving forward, don't they call that driving too?
That's driving.
So he was driving behind the wheel and driving up the field.
Yep.
They call that a double entendre, when two things mean one thing.
Yep.
Like if they say, man, what you want to eat, man? I want to go to the, eat off the hook, but it's a fish place where the fish is off the hook, but it's also good.
Right. And my other son, he played at Utah University.
Okay.
He was an All-American at Diablo Valley College.
That's in Concord. Yeah. They got a real good culinary art program there.
Yeah. He was an All-American there, and then he went and got a full ride to Utah, and his career stalled out. But, that's what it is.
Well, life is like football a lot. Mm-hmm. More than any other sport to me, because football is about positioning.
Yeah.
You might not be able to run the 7 in, but you could get in position to score.
Yeah.
Love is more like basketball because it's constantly back and forth. Right. 1 minute you're on offense, the next minute you're on defense and stuff like that.
Right.
Hey, I was going to ask you another random question real quick. Mm-hmm. LeVar Ball, you know what that is?
Yeah.
Do you consider LeVar Ball a good father?
Man, he's a good father. He's a great, because you know, just it's a lot of young men that don't have a father.
That's right.
That need a father that's halfway as committed to their kids as he is.
That's right.
I mean, the commitment and the confidence that he instilled in his kids is why all three of them is in the NBA.
Yeah.
And yeah, he got his way of doing things, and sometimes he's over the top. But eventually, and I think his younger kid, the one that played for Charlotte, is going to tell his dad, look, we here. Everything that you want to tell us, you can tell us, you know, in the locker room, behind closed doors, and give us your pep talk. But let's dial it back a little bit.
Touchdown.
Yeah,
We're here now.
Yeah, because Alonzo Ball is probably a little more passive, but I think his younger son would talk to his dad like, look, Dad, slide back a little bit. We don't need to you out here humiliating Michael Jordan or challenging Michael Jordan. We here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how can you consider him not a good dad if he been there from day one, had this dream, this vision, and instilled it in his son? It's almost like Serena Williams and Venus Williams' dad. Yeah. It's the same situation. Mm-hmm. He had a vision and a dream. You know, he got his teeth kicked out. When he got his teeth kicked out on the tennis court in L.A. because the hustlers was out there. That was they set. And he came out like, man, look, I'm going to play tennis. I'm going to teach my daughters how to play tennis. Wow. They say, oh, man, you can't come out here with that. And they beat him up, kicked his teeth out, and the next day he came back. And the next day he came back. Yeah. And eventually the hustlers say, man, you know what? Man, let that old man have his tennis court. We're going to move across the street. That's right. And look what happened with the Williams sisters. Yeah. They got a movie now. That's right. And the same thing gonna happen with the Alonzo Ball and his dad and his family. For sure. Yeah.
So you said at 28 you hit the penitentiary.
Now I went to the county jail, you know, because I got on drugs. I started smoking crack in 85.
You want to bring back the time? Was it a male or a woman that introduced it to you?
Man, it was a female.
Always. Can I say something? Can I say something? Can I say something? Can I say something?
Yeah, you can.
I feel like the Black Hawk Hogan when I get a revelation. Hey, Adam, would you like to bite this? No.
Exactly.
I'm not going to do it. But you know it say in the Bible that's why it's kind of hard for a man to have a woman and worship God because, you know, God, a woman is God's gift. Yeah. So you kind of get a little soft for her and kind of put God on the back burner, but back to the big burner. Yeah. What happened?
Man, you know, I was at the time, you know, even when I was hustling, I was moving a lot of drugs, coke, weed, all that. But I was always snorting powder. I snort a half ounce of powder. Yeah. Nose all fucked up. So one day, just say, why don't you try this? And just put it in the weed. Yeah. Call them Grimmy joints.
That's right.
Yeah, everybody, motherfuckers step back, remember. Call them Grimmy joints. Man, I used to smoke them, and it was cool. You know, I was still able to function. But one night, we couldn't find no weed, and the bitch came out with a pipe. Woo! She say, Herm, this is what she say. I'm in Double Rock, right? She say, Herm, I got some weed at the house. Now, I got the crack. And she say, Herm, I got some weed at the house. I'm like, all right, let's go to your house. We walk up to her house, get to the house, the bitch go to the back like she was looking for some weed, and come out and say, Herm, man, my brother took the weed. But I got this pipe. And I hit that shit, and it was a wrap. Wow. It was a wrap. I was towed up. I went 84, back and forth to the county jail, getting caught for sitting in the car with paraphernalia to go to jail, get probation. Out on the street with drugs in my pocket, tweaking. Police take me to jail. So I went to jail like 3 consecutive times, 90 days, 6 months. But I had that 3 years probation, that 3-year joint suspension. Yeah. And I got caught another time, and they sent my ass to the penitentiary. Wow. And I won't never forget, I turned 28 when I was in the county jail in San Bruno. First time I walked through San Bruno, you know, I had been to the county jail, but I'd never been to Bruno.
Is that 850 San Bruno?
No, 850 is 850.
That's downtown.
San Bruno is the big jail, right?
Gotcha, okay.
Man, I walked through that, man, and they walked me through the fucking salad port, And I looked up and seen all the jail cells and all these people screaming and hollering. I was sort of intimidated. I was shook. And then right when my confidence was sort of shaking, my brother called me.
Yeah.
He's like, Herm.
Yeah.
Herm.
Yeah.
Now I'm motivated. I'm pumped up now. I'm like, okay, I got some love up in here, right?
Yeah.
And so I ended up doing some time there, and they sent me to San Quentin. I done 2 years. I done 2 years in Quentin. Got out. The 2 years I was in Quentin, I got out. I'm like, man, I ain't finna use no drugs. I'm just gonna smoke weed and drink, because I was always able to do that. I get out, clean and sober, smoke weed and drink. And one day, I'm at the club, and I smoke some weed, and I'm drinking. Cosmikazi's back there.
Yeah.
And I come out the club at 2 in the morning, and the chick that I used to get high with, she seen me. Hey, Herm. She give me a hug.
Damn.
Embrace me. And the temptation was like, so I take her to the room. We go to the hotel. Because I had a room that I was already paid up for a month.
Okay.
So I take her up there. I'm just finna fuck.
Yeah.
But when we get up there, she say, Herm, is this cool for me to smoke a cigarette? I'm like, yeah, it's cool.
Still playing.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not even thinking, I ain't got no intentions on smoking no crack or getting loaded or nothing. My attitude is all positive. She say, I say, go on. She lit the cigarette, say, you got crack in it. I say, it's cool. I ain't tripping. Thinking I can handle the temptation. She started smoking the shit, man. The cigarette got down to here. And the temptation was like grabbing at me. I said, let me hit that.
Yeah.
And I hit that motherfucking man, and I had like 800 in my pocket. And I said, come on, let's go. Went to Sunnydale, spent a couple of hundred there, went to West Point, went to Harbor, and I was out for another 30 days. Imagine that. Mm-hmm. I've done 2 years, stayed clean for 7 days, got loaded on the 8th day, went back to jail 20 days later.
Wow. And
got another 2 years. The 2 years, and then once I got the 2 years, I'm locked up for 2 years. I'm a shot caller. They come in my cell. They find some revolutionary material in my cell. I'm finna get out.
Literature?
Literature.
Okay.
I'm finna get out next week. I done my 2 years. I just quit smoking cigarettes, Campbell's.
Okay.
And Brugler.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right,
okay.
Right. So I'm finna get out next week.
Okay.
And they found this material. Then they found some knives on the yard, and they grabbed my ass. Said, "Man, we taking you to lockup." Like,
when you say literature, you mean literature amongst inmates, or literature like a book?
No, literature like revolutionary literature, BGF literature,
yeah, that's
stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Amongst inmates.
Yeah, amongst inmates.
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. But they found literature like that because, I was rolling with the 415 car back then, but I was being recruited.
That's right.
I was being recruited. And so, I got this literature, and they come up in the cell and they find it. Bang, they send me to the SHU program. So instead of me getting out next week, they give me a whole extra year in the SHU program in Corcoran.
What is the SHU program?
The SHU program is a jail inside of a jail. And the walls look just like that.
Wow, just cement slab.
All in the bed is a cement slab. So they sent me to Corcoran SHU program. I'm locked up in Corcoran SHU program, and I do a year. When I get to the cell, this is what changed my life. This is why I'm the person I am now. When I get to the cell in the SHU program, they got some weed, a pack of cigarettes, and the Bible. And God spoke to me just as surely as I'm speaking to you now. And God say, okay, Herm, if you smoke the cigarettes, you're going to smoke crack when you get out. If you read the Bible, I'm going to walk you through this process and you're going to be fine.
Okay.
I threw the cigarettes out.
For sure.
Read the Bible. And the year that I was incarcerated in the SHU program, it was a blessing. It was a blessing because I was among convicts, guys that was younger than me, guys that was older than me that had been locked up for 15 years, 10 years, and had life sentences. I'm the only one there at 28. I'm a youngster. I'm the only one there that didn't have a boatload of time. And I was fortunate because when the guards was betting on inmates to go out there and fight and all that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the guards used to The guards used to initiate and create problems with the inmates, the blacks, the Mexicans, Mexican mafia, or whatever, and have them go out and fight as soon as and bet on it. That was all in the news. They got a lawsuit for that.
Like on Django, like the strongest Mandingo, my man from my plantation versus yours.
Yeah, something similar to that. But it was, and at the time, well, I was fortunate that because I was a soldier, I was a rider. And if the convicts would have said, young homie, you got to go, I'm going, I would have got a life sentence. But fortunately for me, the year that I was there, the blacks wasn't in no type of altercation. It was the Mexican and the Southern Mexicans and the Northern Mexicans that was fighting constantly. And once I got out, probably 9 months later, the blacks was into some stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What was the hardest part, do you think, about being in the penitentiary?
Well, for me, it wasn't difficult because I was on crack and I was rescued. It wasn't like I was arrested. Yeah. I needed to go to jail.
Gotcha.
It's a lot of people that need to go to jail to get rehabilitated. Not necessarily like my sister, right? I got a sister that passed. Okay. Because she was on crack. Beautiful lady. My younger sister, beautiful. Lisa Lewis. And she got addicted to crack. And I know, and I wanted her to go to jail because I know if she would have been fortunate to get arrested after 2 months, after 1 month, you looking in the mirror like, okay, I'm looking, this is how I really look. After 2 months, you done picked up the Bible. You done picked up some reading material and you looking in the mirror. You're like, damn, okay. After 3 months, you writing letters to your family talking about, when I get out, I'm going to do this. After 6 months, you got your weight back, you got your attitude back, you back.
That's right.
So you get released, and if you get with the right program and the right situation, you may stay clean. And that's what a lot of people need that. Some people is just mentally so unstable and mentally fried, they can't get back because it's been so long. Yeah. But for me, when I went to jail, my brother was he was doing it big. He's like, Herm, you want me to get you a lawyer? Man, no, I don't need no lawyer. I need to take my ass back to jail. After you just done 2 years and you only stayed out 20 days? The police arrested me in West Point. And he told me, Max, you remember Max? Max arrested me in West Point and said, Herm, the police knew us. Yeah. This was he was a plainclothesman. He only fuck with you if you shot somebody, killed somebody, robbed the bank. He don't fuck with you for no weed or no little shit. It got to be major. But he grew up with us as a police officer. He knew us like that. Yeah. And he seen me, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and he said, Herm, man, is you back on that shit? I'm taking your black ass to jail. Just like that. And took me to jail. And I went back to the penitentiary. But I was rescued, because I needed it. Yeah. Other than that, when I rolled by here down that street, all them that debris out there, that's the reality, man. Mm-hmm. If you don't make the right decisions, or if you decide that you want to, celebrate because it's the Super Bowl, or celebrate because it's New Year's, and go out and do something that's gonna damage you mentally, because I'm happy, man. Let me take a hit. Yeah. Man, you may not get back. You know what? So I'm scared to death. I've been clean 30 years. Man, only thing I'm fucking with is this. Hey. Man, I'm cool, man.
I just made 2.5 years clean and sober.
That's good. Congratulations.
You know what I'm saying?
Congratulations.
And it's real big. Somebody said, do you want to drink? I said, look, man, my physical birthday is October 17th. But an addict feel like, okay, well, Libra season in. I'm going to just party with all my body. Then when my birthday get in, what we say, we're going to celebrate the whole month. And then Thanksgiving get here, then we doing it. Then Christmas. New Year's. Yeah. I wouldn't stop drinking probably till February. Right. Knowing me.
Right.
And
So what did you do? Oh, your birthday, did you
Oh, I was at this.
Did you have a drink?
No, I don't drink. Period.
So you done good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Remember when I seen you at Lux?
Yeah.
I was at that club because my god brother owns it.
Yeah.
So I seen my partner there, right? So then one of my god brothers, not the owner, but the general manager he hired, said, "What's up, El?" So I'm talking to my partner. He said, "Happy birthday." And then my young partner said, "El, it's your birthday?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Why you ain't partying?" I said, "I'm at the party." He said, "Well, why you ain't celebrating?" I said, "Nigga, I'm an OG. Yeah. I celebrate when I'm at home safe in my bed."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Because, it's like, when you clean and sober, it's a blessing. And you cannot afford to play around with God. Because for you to be clean and sober for 2 years, obviously you made a personal commitment to God.
That's right.
And when God bless you and deliver you from that's significant. Mm-hmm. And if you betray God,
that's gonna be significant.
Yeah, he gonna make you feel it. Yeah. And he may bring you back, but you don't even want to challenge that. So for me, it's like, it's been 30 years.
Yeah.
Man, I don't give a man. Look, I can be among, and I like being in the company of my homeboys, my loved ones that's having sociable drinks, smoking their weed. I'm good with that. I can be in that environment.
Yeah.
When I'm with Larry June or when I'm with Black Chris, I can be in that environment.
Yeah.
But I know what I'm capable of doing. I know what I shouldn't do. Yeah. And if it get the boundary, if it get to a certain limit, then I gotta step.
For sure. So at what point were you getting into the music? Was this before the penitentiary or after or kind of during?
You know what? I didn't do no music until, I went to the penitentiary. When I got out the penitentiary, when I went to the penitentiary, I didn't know Black Chris. I didn't know RBL Posse.
So this is like 88 when you went to the pen?
I went to the pen in 86. I got out in 89. But when I went to the penitentiary, and this is the good thing, right? I didn't know Black Chris. I didn't know Mr. C. I didn't know none of the young homies. Okay, because when I was on crack, they was young and they didn't know who the fuck I was.
Yeah.
Okay, but before I got on crack, I was a baller. I was doing it big. And so when I got out the penitentiary, I'm up on Harbor. I had just moved. I was raised up there, but I moved. My lady had got a place up there. So me and her moved up there, and everything is new. And Black Chris and Booby and Mr. C and Toto and all them dudes was the guys. And, I used to go out there. I used to read my book, read my Bible on the stairs, right where we done the album shoot at, right where we used to lift weights at.
Yeah.
I was still had that penitentiary mentality, still do today. So I would sit up there on the stairs, read books. And sometimes I used to bring them into the discussion. Like, man, y'all listen to this. And read a couple of chapters or whatever, and they was inspired by it. And Chris got at me he's like, Herm, come to the studio. We want you to we want you to say something on our album.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I ain't never been to the studio in my life. Never. And he said, just write something down and come to. So that night I wrote something down, and I go to the studio with Chris and Mr. C and Toto, TC. We all at TC studio. And he put me in there, he said, just go on and do what he put the little beat on, and I spit my stuff, right? I didn't have no expectations for it. Bang, next thing you know, they album came out May the 1st, and I ended up going to jail. I had to turn myself in because I was selling dope. And I got caught, but I was out on bail for like 2 years. I paid the attorney, I'm dragging it out. They album come out May the 1st, 1992. I had to turn myself in to the county jail to do 6 months. I ain't thinking about their album. I'm going to do my time. 2 months, 3 months after I'm in jail, people was coming to the county jail like, Herm, man, RBL blowing up. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? People like, man, everybody love what you said on their tape. I'm like, for real? Then my wife come up and she telling me. Then my sister come up and they got T-shirts, RBL bandanas and shit.
For sure.
And I'm like, I'm in jail. Like, man, is this for real?
Yeah.
Then I called my sister's house, and she got my spoken word message on her voicemail.
Yeah.
So after 6 months, I get out. This is another story because you say your birthday October the 17th.
Yeah.
That time I get out. The county jail accidentally let me out of jail on October the 17th.
Accidentally?
Yeah.
Do you want to actually explain accidentally?
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm in the county jail. I'm doing 6 months, but I'm on parole. So after my 6 months, I was supposed to go right to San Quentin and do another 6 months.
Okay.
And San Bruno County Jail, they sending me the paper. They sent me the paperwork saying, "Oh yeah, well, your release date is October the 17th." I didn't say shit. I just like, okay, and I'm waiting. October, 2 weeks, go, and that's October the 15th. I'm like, shit, they still ain't saying shit. October the 17th come, they say, Lewis, roll it up. I'm like, what? I swear to God, out of county jail, man, my wife dipped up in the yellow Volvo, man. They let me out. It was a Friday.
Yeah.
Man, they let me out, and, at this time, I'm disciplined, I'm responsible, so they let me out. Bang. I'm out for the weekend. Go to the 49er game, lay up, I'm laying up. I got my sex on, all the shit.
Yeah.
And then, but on that Monday, I said, you know what? I ain't even gonna play with the parole. I'm gonna go see my parole officer. I'm thinking this punk gonna give me the benefit of the doubt. Like, well, you done 6 months, you ain't been in no trouble, and you came down here to let it be known that they had made a mistake in letting you out. Now I could have ran.
Yeah.
But I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to be on the run. I think got too much going on. So I go down there to see my parole officer. I'm thinking he gonna be cool. Soon as he see me, he say, lock my ass up. The next day I was in San Quentin. Yeah.
Damn.
The next day I was in. Now I could have got out and ran, but if I would have ran, it would have been too much stress on me. Uh-huh. And so I ended up going to San Quentin, done another 6 months, and then when I got out, I had like 30,000 from my hustling. And when I got out, I said, man, I'm finna do me an album. I'm finna do some music. I was just gonna do a motivational speech.
Yeah.
Stop the violence, increase the peace, because Hunters Point was killing each other, Sunnydale and all that.
So much stuff changed from nonviolence to when you got out.
Yeah.
From like 84 to 89 is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It got crazy.
It got crazy. And then when I got out in 92, I'm up on the block with Chris, T-Lo, Mr. C, Rapping Forte.
Yeah.
JT came through, and we just chopping it up.
And is this the back of 92? Like
this the back of 92.
So you got out after they done dropped it in May.
Yeah.
You kind of like fresh off, like you feeling your wiggle now.
Right. So
you RBL posse.
Yeah, exactly. And crowd used to open up for them and stuff. Herm, come and do your intro. So I do the intro in Portland, all over Detroit. We was all over the place.
Yeah.
And so I told Chris one day, I said, man, I'm gonna do an album. I want to just do a motivational speech. And Chris said, well, what you gonna put on the other side? He said, let us put something on the other side. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. RBL was the hottest thing going.
For sure.
So that when he said he wanted to put something on the B side, how you gonna tell Black C no? And he the one initiated me to the game. So yeah, okay, cool. And then Forte pulled up. He said, man, I want to be on it. And then JT pulled up. We all on Harbor Road.
Yeah.
JT, the bigger figure, pulled up. He said, man, I want to be on it too, Herm. And JT and Forte say, man, we can't do an album from Frisco without Cool Nut.
Come on now.
Rest in peace, Cool Nut.
Come on now.
So when he said that, I'm like, okay, we got to get Cool Nut.
Yeah.
And that's how that first compilation actually materialized. And when it came out, before it came out, JT is people get whatever, I love JT because he have always showed nothing but respect and love for me. And he have walked me through Bayside Music.
Yeah.
And got me a $50,000 check. JT the bigger figure. He done that for me. JT told me he seen me at the Delinquents release party in San Francisco. And he said, Herm, you tripping. man, it's time for you to put out another compilation.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I ain't drinking. Just like Melicon said the same shit the other day. Just like what you were saying, that's what JT did. Herm, it's time for you to pull out another compilation. I'm like, JT, I ain't finna do nothing. He said, man, the people is waiting on you, Herm. I got a hookup for you, man, at Bayside Records. You can go there. And he took me there, man. I got a $50,000 check.
Yeah, JT know where it's at, though.
Yeah. And he blessed me with that. So, I always got respect for JT, the bigger figure. And when I done that first compilation.
Which one is the first one? Do you have the first one with you?
It's this T-shirt right here. It's this one. This is the first one.
Okay.
And when I done this one, JT seen me. He called me. He was in field mode. He said, Herm, fuck all that. Man, break me off right now. Your shit finna blow up. So I gave him like a couple of racks. And that was that.
Dope.
Yeah. Because we didn't. And when I done this album, it was just, I'm thinking that the album was just gonna sell locally. Among the San Francisco region. Put that shit out, and it started selling and never stopped.
Snowballing.
It never stopped. And I didn't have a lot of knowledge of the music business. I was just learning as I go.
Sometimes it's better like that.
Yeah, it is fun. It's fun.
They say ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun.
In your opinion, what song put Frisco on the map?
Oh, damn. Good question. There's a few. The Bama Weed, Game Recognized Game. Players Club.
You know which one I thought? Because I'm about to ask you this. Where were you at when you first heard?
Huey MC.
Who?
Huey MC.
You know what?
Huey MC. Keep a bitch broke. Keep a bitch. He put that Huey MC. Huey motherfucking MC.
Okay.
He get, sometimes certain individuals don't get acknowledged as much as they should. And that's just how it be sometimes. But Huey MC, man, was ahead of his time.
Okay.
And he performed that song last week at TC's little get-together. Mm-hmm. Huey MC came down and he performed that song.
I've only heard of him. I've never heard none of his music.
Oh, man. Keep a Bitch Broke was the shit, man.
Okay.
That was a hyphy song. It was hyphy.
You know what song I was going to say?
Which one?
Too Short, Rapping Forte with the Girls.
Oh, yeah.
That was a classic.
Yeah, that was one of them.
Don't Fight the Feeling?
Don't Fight the Feeling, yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
Say house.
Yeah, that was one of the ones.
You know what? I'll go with that.
Yeah.
But don't give me no Bama Weed. I'm not just saying that because y'all was here. That was a soundtrack. That came out with Mary J. Blige and Snoop Doggy Dogg. All came out when I was a freshman.
Uh-huh.
That was real big.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the Street Soldiers? That's what I want to holler at you about.
I got into Street Soldiers by, I had this album out. The album was doing good. And I knew what they was doing was what I was all about. So they had a show with KRS-One over at the Henry J. Kaiser Center.
In Oakland. For sure.
Yeah, they had a show over there. It was a big show. It was an anniversary show or something. And so I said, man, we got to go over there. So I took one time, the singing group. I said, man, we got to go over there. We going to get on stage. And when we got over there, they had their itinerary already set up. Like, oh, we can't let you on stage. We can't let you on stage. And I was persistent. I'm like, man, look, y'all from the Bay Area. Man, I'm from the Bay Area.
That's right.
I'm from the Bay Area. I listen to the station all the time. What I got to say, people in the audience want to hear. And give me an opportunity. So I kept at it, and KRS.
Come a little closer to the mic.
KRS-One said, yeah, man, let him go on and do his thing. So I go up there, and I got one time with me, and we done our thing, and all the crowd, they knew who we was. Because the album at that time had sold like 80,000 units.
Come on now.
So, the crowd is like, they in tune with what we talking about. And Joe Marshall at Street Soldiers was like, whoa. And next thing you know, he had contacted me. I ended up doing going on their show just like this. And then I done the the theme song for they show, the Street Soldier show. I had done a couple of them over the years. I done one with me and Oscar X.
Oh, he was a soundtrack to my 8th grade. But keep going.
Oscar X, yeah.
Sajada
Yeah. You know, I had always wanted to do something with Oscar X, so I ended up pulling him in. Me and him done something together for Street Soldiers, and you know, I was just every so many Mondays Sundays I would go over there, express my opinion, get on the mic, and you know, do my thing. But they never did. And I wanted at some point I wanted him to give me my own little platform to where I can do it the way I wanted to do it, and bring in some younger people, some people that was in the music industry in my era, to where on a positive note to try to reach a different audience. And that opportunity never did present itself.
So how was the format? How did they have the format with Street Soldiers with you versus how did you want it? How was it?
What I wanted, the way it was Joe Marshall, Margaret Norris, and Jack. Jack Malachi. Jack, I forgot his last name, but anyway, it was Jack and Coach. All real good, solid people. And you know, Street Soldiers, Omega Boys Club, they had their own movement, which is great. But I was a significant part of it. And what really made me want to have my own, just one day. Like, you know, if you're doing it 4 weeks in the month, let me do one day. You know, give me one weekend, one Sunday. KML had took Street Soldiers off the air. Mm-hmm. For I guess they wasn't generating enough buzz or whatever. They took them off the air. And so Street Soldiers, Joe Marshall, they got at me and wanted to rally up some support and be on the front line talking to the power brokers, the powers that be. And it was me, Jeffrey at Jeffrey Nightclub, the owner, me, him, and a few other individuals that was speaking on behalf of Street Soldiers. And eventually Street Soldiers got put back on. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be my opportunity to get just a slot, even if it's a couple of segments, where it's just the Herm Lewis segment or whatever. And it never happened. And eventually our relationship just sort of dissolved.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's all love. Because they gave me a tremendous opportunity. And it gave me an opportunity to reach a lot of people. So it was all love. It was good.
It was definitely a dope show.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's still on and still popping.
Like, I used to love that, you know what I'm saying? Because I remember I used to go to Mount Diablo in Concord, right? Yeah. So that's how I knew where DVC was.
Yeah.
You know,
my son was All-American there.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I used to put that Street Soldiers on, you know, when I'm at the house, you know. I might have just came down over Lil Bimmer.
No. You listen to Street Soldiers.
For sure.
That's right.
Because, I mean, I listen to music like a lot of people, like, I listen to music, like if I'm popping in some of my favorite artists, it has to be a little informational. I like to dance and shit like that, right. But I like music that's informational, like KRS-One, Nas and stuff like that. Now, I got my moments when I'm in the gym and I could Gucci Mane it out. At this point, hip-hop has gone so far that there's a lane for everything. You want to see some battle rapping?
Right.
Now, speaking of that, Larry June, what's your connection to my man Larry June?
That's my nephew, man. That's my nephew, Larry June, and you know, he called me, man, and sort of like reignited my career.
Yeah.
You know, I fucking with him, you know, my fan base, you know, I've been consistent.
Yeah.
But fucking with him, my fan base done jumped from here to here.
That's right.
You know, I done accumulated 1 million new people that know who I am.
That's right.
Because of my nephew, Larry June. And I thank him because he have always admired me as a youngster.
Yeah.
In the music, coming in the house, looking at, you know, all of my stuff.
Yeah.
And you never know what type of impact you have on a young kid or a young individual because and he tells me, he say, "Oh, Unc, I used to come in there and used to be captivated and just admired and just seeing your posters and seeing you with Rapping Forte and Be Legit and JT." He said he was captivated. San Quinn, Messy Marv, Mr. C, seeing y'all at the gym. So he tells me that. So when he called me, say, "Unc, I need you to come," just like Black Chris did. "Unc, I need you to come and say something on my next album." I'm like, "All right." I'm like, "No problem." But I go, so I show up, do my thing, and he's so professional and so precise. He's like, "Be here," so I'm just like I was here today.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out, man.
Yeah,
you was on time.
I'm gonna be on time when I know it's a situation that means something. Yeah. I'm showing up. I'm gonna be on point. So I show up, me and him do our thing, and shit, 2 weeks later, it's all over the internet.
Cruise USA.
Yeah. All of and he telling me, and he like, "Oh man, people loving it."
They do.
And so that was just cool.
I like that album so much. I'm gonna tell you, I got a greatest hits. I like that album so much that I don't take nothing off of it and put it on my greatest hits because I don't want to hear it broke up yet.
Right.
I got to keep the family together.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, his whole vibe is just cool, and all of my fans, is right here.
Yeah.
But I've been introduced to a whole group of fans now. It's like the fans that's recognizing me now is my son age.
That's right.
And like I seen my homegirl, two of my homegirls, and they was with their daughters. And they was like, "Hey, Herm," the homegirls, "Hey, Herm, what's up?"
That's right.
And the daughters is like,
"That's
Herm. Is that Herm? That's the one on Larry.
That's Herm.
Is that the one on Larry?
Ain't that how they be?
Yeah.
That's Herm.
Yeah. And so the daughters can't believe the mamas know me, right?
Yeah.
But it's nothing to us.
That's right.
And then I had a softball game last year, a couple of years ago, and the young dude, my partner pulls up on me. He my age. Like, "Hey, Herm, this is my son and my daughter. They go to Howard University." I'm like, "Oh, cool. What's up?" I say, so I said, "Yeah, I do music, right?" And they looking at me like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah.
That's how the kids looking at me.
Of course.
They like, "Yeah, whatever." I seen their expression. They wasn't enthusiastic about who the fuck Herm was.
But when you mentioned,
I say, "Well, y'all know Larry June?" "What? Oh yeah, I know Larry June."
You should hit him with a
I said, "Yeah, that's my nephew." "Oh, you the one on the state?"
Yep.
And so that right, I done got that a lot.
Yeah.
I've been getting that a lot. So and it's good.
Well, you know what's so dope? You know what I'm saying? Like when you have people that you actually look up to around you. That's why it's so great to be role models, because sometimes we have like these celebrities that we look up to, like say like I want to be a rapper, but I go in his house and all I see is Jay-Z, Nas, these people that I'll probably never really get a chance to meet. Mm-hmm. But then when I'm seeing people that's around the neighborhood and stuff like that, it becomes more believable.
Right. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, because in the neighborhood, man, we had stars.
That's right.
We had stars. Hitman was a star. He was a youngster.
Yeah.
He was a star. Chris, obviously, Mr. C. T-Lo was a star. T-Lo was he was a star, and he had so much personality to where anywhere he went, he ain't got to be the main guy.
Yeah.
But he eventually be the main guy.
Okay, and this is T who?
T-Lo. That was my artist. He was on my second compilation. He the one introduced Mr. C to Black Chris.
Okay.
He the one introduced Mr. C to Black C.
Wait. Okay, gotcha.
Mr. C is the one that got murdered.
That's right. Before Hitman came.
Yeah.
The two original members.
Yeah. But T-Lo was going to be the original member.
That's right.
But he was shucking and jiving.
That's what Black C said.
And he knew he was shucking and jiving. Yeah. So he brought Mr. C.
That's right.
Chris, he rap. he'll be more dependable.
You know what? Shout out to T-Lo.
Yeah.
You know what I can't stand? When somebody want to take something away from you and don't want to replace it. He said, look, I'm not going to be here. We're getting my brother.
T-Lo is he's a solid dude, man. And, he wouldn't be, he ain't got, there's certain individuals. T-Lo told me this one time. He said, Herm, I don't care if 5 people pull up in brand new Benzes. Man, give me your 5.0 and your Black Power chain, and I outshine everybody.
Okay.
And that's what he did all the time. He would just, sometimes you can be the guy.
Yeah.
You can have all the material stuff.
That's
you
right.
can have his finest car.
That's right.
But if it's that individual that just naturally got swagger.
The inner riches.
Yeah, and he don't need all of that. Matter of fact, that's T-Lo right here. The Thug Mania album. That's T-Lo right there.
In the back?
That's me in the back. That's T-Lo.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my boy right there. T-Lo.
Okay, shout out to T-Lo.
Yeah. He had his own album. I put his album out. Keep It Real, and Macaflamma.
Now, you know what? Thanks for the book.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let's talk about this book.
I got you a book and a DVD, too.
How long did it take? I see Chris Hicks in there. Shout out to that Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream Man.
I like when he said this on the box. Remember the box? I love ice cream. I don't like to eat it. I like to slang it. He went to school with my brother.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I met him later. Of course, I had the name drop, because
right.
he had 14, 15 years old.
Right.
Man, you went to school with my brother? He's like, that's my dog.
Yeah. Chris Hicks. Chris Hicks is my boy, man.
Yeah, for sure. So talk about the book, man. Thank you.
I was doing something with Ghazi. I was meeting with Ghazi when he first started Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ladies that was working in his office, Ebony Sparks, she knew me, and me and her was having a conversation out in the lobby. And she said, Herm, you should write a book.
Yeah.
But I had heard that before from Billy Jam. And I'm like, man, I write a book, but I'm not knowledgeable about all of this stuff. I got ideas and know what I want. So she said, Herm, I'll help you. Just write your thoughts down and give it to me. I'm like, okay now.
Yeah.
So I started just writing shit down, passing it to her, and she correct my spelling. My spelling ain't real accurate. She would correct my spelling and reword it a little bit to make it sound more professional, more authentic. Because I'm just writing shit down.
Yeah.
I know what I'm trying to say. But so she would put it in the proper form. And shit, the book just, after I think like 4 or 5 months, the book actually materialized. And then I done the artwork. And once I commit myself to something,
yeah,
and I know my name is attached to it, it's mandatory that I finish the job. It got to come out. It got to hit the stores. The public got to get an opportunity to judge it. See, and a lot of individuals, I know individuals that have spent, I ain't gonna say no name, but I know this guy that spent $30,000 on an album. This was some years back. Just kept spinning. But he was afraid to drop the album. Yeah, it was an R&B album.
Yeah.
But it was a good album. And he had some rappers on it too. I'm like, dude, drop the album. Oh, Herm, man, well, Mary J. Blige is coming out next week. Hey, dude, you cannot continue to procrastinate and evaluate everybody else's release date and keep pushing your shit back.
You know what? I love when you do that. You do it so much you probably don't know. Where you start saying shit that wrong, you can't evaluate everybody else's release date because it's that you procrastinate. And then he washed it down with the truth. I love it.
I like that.
Hey, you know what's crazy though? Because I was telling somebody as an artist, the problem with a lot of artists, including myself, right? Sometimes we wait on that big punch where we don't even swing it off.
Yeah, you got to swing. You got to, exactly. If you continue to wait, I read in a book, if you at the stoplight at the light,
yeah,
and you sit right here and you wait for every light blocks to turn green before you take off,
yeah,
your ass ain't gonna never take off because this one gonna turn green and they ain't gonna turn green all at the same time.
That's right.
So you gotta take off.
That's
you
right.
gotta put it out there. My thing, I want the public to judge. I want the public to get the opportunity to say, man, I read the book.
Yeah.
I seen the DVD.
Yeah.
I got the album.
Yeah.
That's why, you got to put your shit out.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't, if you don't have success, or even if you haven't had success. I'm not going to spend 30 racks and let my shit just sit on the shelf. That motherfucker got to go to the store
somewhere
and make my money, make something back.
Somewhere.
You got to make something back, man. Shit.
Hey, I got to ask you this question before we get out of here. You know what I'm saying? You a legend, right? What do you think defines a legend? What makes a legend a legend?
I think, being responsible, having character, having longevity, being a positive influence, also being a motherfucker that can handle his business physically, gangster-wise, or, if it come down to that. You got to have that as part of your resume also.
Yeah.
You got to have the flexibility to let the public know or whoever know, man, this is how I want to move. But if you disrespect me or challenge me, I'm capable of moving this way. Mm-hmm. And a legend is somebody that inspires somebody else. Like I inspired Larry June.
Yeah.
Like Larry June bringing me in. He have made my legendary status increase.
That's right.
What Melicon done for me, bringing me in here and being in my ear about different situations. Yeah. Okay, so, and I've had him on my second compilation. Yeah. The NOH song, Voices in My Head.
How many total did you do, like 5?
I think I've done like 5, 6. Yeah, I think I've done like 6.
You got a favorite one?
Well, the first one, the one that made the most money.
Yeah.
The second one was good. There's all the compilations was good albums. Okay. And I got my money back, made some cash on each of my albums. The compilations, yeah.
Now I gotta ask you, Black Power, is that a record label or just a LLC or is it a group or what?
That's record label. Okay. Black Power Productions. It's Black Power Production, yeah. I established that in 93. Mm-hmm. Got the fictitious business name and all that with the City Hall. Got all the paperwork. So it's Black Power Productions. Yeah.
And this is what I want to ask you. Talk about some of the things that were around in the rap game, or like, take it back to 90, let's say 4, right? Shout out to the train. 94. Talk about some of the stuff that's actually happening now that in 94 you didn't think ever would be happening now.
What's happening now that wouldn't happen in 94? Everything is revolving. Everything is revolving, and with social media.
Oh, come a little closer to the mic.
Everything is revolving, and with social media, things is revolving real quick. With all these young entrepreneurs that have these extraordinary dreams, you can't underestimate them.
That's right.
You can't underestimate them because guys is making millions now that in 94, they wasn't seeing that. Mm-hmm. Larry June is, he making money on his merchandise, on his shows, on his concerts, on all that stuff. Other end of Mozzie. Yeah. Same type of.
Shout out to Mozzie.
Yeah, same type of influence, same type of get down. Mr. Fab.
Shout out to Fab. Yeah.
These guys is entrepreneurs that's on another level. And me, I sit back and be impressed with it, but just know I'm just trying to stay active. I'm trying to stay current and stay relevant by being in the company. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to just get in the corridor, be in the hallway, because if you in the hallway, you're going to get picked up.
That's right.
If you conducting yourself the right way. So if I'm here, okay, this is a good environment. And if I'm with Larry June, eventually I'm gonna get connected with Snoop Dogg. If I'm with Black C, eventually I'm gonna get connected with Too Short, I'm connected with, I know Too Short, but I'm gonna get connected with other individuals in the music game. So the young entrepreneurs, you can't underestimate them because it's they creative, and they not afraid. And then what I would never thought, the cannabis, the fucking weed explosion that put my ass out of business.
That's right.
Fucking the cannabis club put me out of business.
Business.
Shit. Man, listen. I'm gonna say this real quick. I was telling my partner, man, my sister-in-law, Tanya Lewis, she got at me and said, Herm, take me down to the cannabis club. You know, this some years when the shit first started opening.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. Now at the time, I got pounds of weed. But my shit is moving hella slow now. So I give her a ride to the cannabis club. And at the time, they would say, you got to have a medical card. I'm thinking all old people going in there, motherfuckers on canes or whatever. Man, I'll pull up down there.
Did you see him, though? He went like this, motherfuckers on canes.
Yeah. Look, I'll pull up, and I'll park, and I'm watching while she go in there. I'm seeing motherfuckers pulling up on 24-inch rims, music pounding, motherfuckers your age, Malachi, jumping out, running in. And I'm like, oh, that's why my shit moving slow. That's why my weed just moving. Everybody going to the cannabis club.
Yeah.
And, and the next thing, you got to be ready to adapt.
Okay.
And I did, there's a few things that I didn't adapt to that cost me. The digital, when everything started going digital. Yeah. I was slow to adapt.
Are you adapting now?
I'm adapting now. Yeah, I'm adapting now. I got stuff on digital platforms, but I think I could have adapted sooner and could have had me an artist or two, like doing what Mozzie and Larry June do. I could have had me, possibly. But you never know. Yeah. You never know who's going to be hot.
That's right.
It's going to be a privilege to have, that's my dream, is to have an artist, my own artist, on the caliber of a Mozzie or Larry June. Yeah, it's coming. Youngster, to where I can sit back and say, look, this is what you need to do. Like just how you have Malachi call me and say, Herm, go down to Fame, you got an interview. Yeah. I want to be able to do that with a platinum artist. That's right. Hey, man, you got to be in Seattle. Yeah. You got an autograph signing. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to be able to come to Seattle, but I'll meet you in L.A. That's right. All right, matter of fact, I ain't going to make it to L.A. I'll meet you in Vegas. Book the suite up there, me and my lady coming. That's right. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to do that shit and get some cash and just make decisions. I ain't got it. It's like I have been the man for years. So I ain't got to be the man. Yeah. I want to be the man, but just sitting over here. The man behind the veil. Yeah, behind the veil. Man, I want to have me, man, go on and do your thing, youngster. I want to coach him. Like, dude, this right here, you can't do that. This is inappropriate. No. You can't carry that. You can't jeopardize your freedom. Okay? That's why you got him here or her. See, in the music game, everybody got a job. Mm-hmm. It's not just like when RBL was blowing the indie, I had a position. And I didn't mind holding on to their coattail. Mm-hmm. If I'll carry the weed or whatever. I'm just in the car. I provided everything, security, whatever you needed. At the time, I was hitting 400 pounds. Woo! I was Big Herm for real, So, yeah, so it's different positions that an individual can play. And if you conduct yourself the right way to where, because you don't want to intimidate the youngsters, and try to push up on them, because now they don't want you around. You know what? I was telling somebody this. In this game, if young people like you when you older, that's a plus. Yeah. Because in this game, they don't like your old ass. No. This old motherfucker, man. No. I hear him talking about me. Yeah. No. So you gotta have the right attitude, and you gotta play your position. So this is what I wanted to ask you real quick, because I asked my brother this question too, and I'm gonna ask you this question.
We talk about rehabilitating the youth, right? Mm-hmm. Don't you think that people that had, like, let's just say like people that went to jail, if they could get those government jobs in juvenile hall facilities in California Youth Authority, do you think that that would really help a lot?
That would be very, 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 very effective. And they need to do it ASAP, right now. That's what the powers that be need to do. Man, open up all these vacant buildings that's around here, that's in San Francisco, man, open them up.
Yeah.
And to where when people come out of jail, mm-hmm. they got a place to go to get some wisdom from you.
Yeah.
To get some wisdom from me. And get, directed in the right direction. Why they fresh out. Mm-hmm. But if you let them come out and go get loaded and go get with the wrong individuals, they're gonna be a negative influence on society.
And the cycle is not gonna be broke.
It's not gonna be broke. But the powers that be complicate the process with all this red tape. I've been said that.
That's right.
Open up a facility for me. Man, I don't got no goddamn money. Okay? Just my reputation, my commitment that I have displayed by myself independently with my own money to the neighborhood, that should be sufficient enough for Mayor London Breed, Mayor Gavin Newsom to say, let's give Herm a facility and see what he do. Because all the killing that's in San Francisco, mm-hmm. then I would have a relationship with the young. See, now it's like you got to have a relationship with the young people before they kill somebody.
That's right.
You can't wait until they kill somebody, mm-hmm. and now all of a sudden everybody, oh man, call Herm. See, can Herm talk to him? No. If you would have called me 6 months ago and had me a system set up to where I could say, man, look, we're going to go to the game, we're going to sit down, we're going to study, we're going to talk about motivation, we're going to talk about staying drug-free, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to go to the studio. Matter of fact, we got our studio. Matter of fact, y'all all come over, we're going to watch the Warrior game. And establish a rapport with them. Then, in the midst of that, you can say, man, look, I know there's a problem going on up there. We don't need you to go to jail. You got a son, you got a woman, they both need you. So before you go out, but we got to be able to do that in advance. Mm-hmm. But soon as 2 or 3 people get killed, the media is out.
Yeah.
The powers that be is walking in suits. Oh man, well let's call Herm. Let's call this influential creature man, Sean Richards, whoever's, Deez. Let's call over here. Let's call over here. Let's call Melicon. Let's get all these guys together to go talk to the youth.
That's right.
But if y'all give us a good situation to where we can build up some credibility with the youth prior to them going to kill something or going to do something dangerous, rob somebody or do something stupid, we'll be able to prevent it. And
You know how you making shit rhyme? I made my own one up too. I said street credibility ain't shit without street availability.
Ooh, that's real talk, though. That's real talk. That's real talk.
Before we get out of here, man, tell people, man, where they can reach you at.
Man, you can reach me at on Instagram, Herm Lewis, Facebook, Herm Lewis. That's it. Black Power Productions. And I'm out here in the streets. I'm running the business also, janitorial service.
Yeah. My bad about that.
I've been doing the janitorial business for 26 years. A lot of people, I don't know if people, I've never been ashamed. I've never been ashamed of, I bought my janitorial business when my music CDs started not selling 100,000 copies. Mm-hmm. So I bought a franchise because I was always wanted a job. So I said, well, you know what? I got the music thing going. I don't have a job. And my brother said, Herm, buy you a job. So I bought a franchise. And the franchise I bought, it was $14,000 back then. I made that $14,000 back 1 million times. And I'm still making money on it.
Okay.
Every building that you see in Oakland, San Francisco, on the highway going to Concord, need to be serviced by a janitorial service, including this one.
Okay.
It's a janitorial service that come through here and clean that bathroom we just was at. Yeah, and this right here probably pay $2,500 a month, probably 3 days a week. That probably take a couple of hours a day to do with 2 or 3 young dudes. If the young dudes is dependable.
That's right.
It's hard to find dependable people, but you know, yeah. So hey, that's me, man. I'm Herm Lewis, Black Power Productions. Peace, one love, unity. Stop the violence and increase the peace.
Man, thanks for coming out, man.
Oh yeah, one love, baby.
Yeah. Well, I am L-Deez, also known Lawrence One, for another episode of I Need to Know. And as usual, come on, you know what I want.